There is no other digital camera like this on the market. It fits in your pocket, has manual controls, large APS-C sensor and super sharp 40mm lens. You've heard about it, you probably considered buying it, but you are still not sure if you should get it over its tried and trusted 28mm cousin. Of course, I am talking about the one-of-a-kind ricoh GR3X. It's still hard to believe that ricoh has released this camera. Users of the GR cameras, myself included, had been long asking for a GR with a 50mm lens, but I don't think anyone believed it's going to happen. And when ricoh scrapped the option of using the telephoto lens adapter on the APS-C GR cameras, it looked like we would be doomed to shoot with the 28mm lens forever. There's nothing wrong with that. I took my ricoh GR2 and later the GR3 to more places than I can count. I also used the 21mm adapter lens to great effect, especially when going hiking. I took some of my most favorite images with these cameras. But the 28mm lens, however versatile, always left me wanting more. Or rather less, I should say. I wanted a tighter field of view, easier background blur, and I wanted that without mounting an additional lens. And then ricoh did the unexpected and unveiled the 40mm GR3X. Not 50 like many desired, but slightly wider, more practical lens. I remember showing an image of the GR3X to my wife and she was like, "You don't need it, you already have a camera like this." And I was like, "It's not the same, this one has 40mm lens." And what lens it is. Somehow images from the ricoh GR3X are even sharper than from the GR3. Autofocus is slightly faster, although it still hunts in less than ideal light. The tighter field of view makes it easier to play with shallow depth of field and to create a nice background separation for your subjects. Macro mode is also more interesting, to the point where I usually need to stop down to have my subject entirely in focus. All of this makes the GR3X a great environmental portrait camera, but it's also usable for taking snaps on the street or wherever you are at the moment, because this camera, as any other GR, can go with you anywhere. And although everything on the camera except the excellent lens is the same as on the GR3, the 3X feels better built. Knobs and dials feel like they will last longer, not because they are from different materials, but probably thanks to improved quality control in ricoh factories. It's still a true ricoh GR camera, with all the benefits of compact size and one-hand operation and full manual control. The 40mm field of view has its limitations, and you may have noticed on social media that some people are selling their GR3X and returning to the 28mm GR camera. This always happens to some of us after the novelty of the new camera wears off, but I also understand why the 3X may not be for everyone. There are situations when I wish to have the GR3 with me instead. Like when I want to take a good photo of our family gathered in a smaller living room. The 28mm field of view is way more versatile, and I learned this the hard way. So now I take the GR3 when I expect shooting indoors or in tight spaces. But it's like mounting a 40mm lens on your camera and then regretting you could not take a wide-angle shot. That's why photographers carry more than one lens, and that is why it's best to own both the GR3 and 3X. But when I go for a casual walk, not knowing what I'll be photographing, the 3X is my camera of choice. As a natural 50mm shooter, I learned to compromise. I may not like the tighter view for everything, but it's so much closer to how I see the world that the GR3X pretty much lives in my pocket. And most of the time, I'm glad to have something with a tighter field of view anyway. That is why the ricoh GR3X is a unique pocket camera. There really is nothing like it on the market. There were the Sigma DP2 Merrill and Quattro, both with fixed 45mm lens combined with the fantastic foveon sensors, but these were hardly pocketable and limited by the same foveon technology that made them famous. The ricoh GR3X is a much more versatile, pocketable beast, and I think it will become a future classic. because not many other companies, if any at all, will make a similar camera. There was a Fujifilm, Nikon and Sigma alternative to the GR3, but nothing even close to the 3X. And who knows, even Ricoh may decide that it's not worth making a 40mm version of the hopefully upcoming GR4. Because despite being so unique, I don't see the 3X being as popular as the original 28mm GR. It's more expensive, there are less of them on the used market, and not everyone likes the boring look of a 40mm lens.